Okay, so this is the next thing we want to do. It's not as complex as it looks. Look at it now. You just basically have to deal with a circle and that circle and circle. Majorly circles that like comprise this whole place. So let's go straight ahead. So let's go. You can click on Control N. Press Control N to open this page that has parts, assembly, drawing. We're dealing with parts. You click on parts. Then adjust your unit from IPS to MMGS if it's not already set in MMGS. Then same thing, go to sketch, click on the sketch again that is under sketch. Then based on how the drawing is, you can see that we're viewing from the top plane, so you click on the top plane. So now basically in your drawing there are honestly a lot of dimensions. So let's start with the central circle. So let's start this central circle here. So that central circle has a diameter of 20. So let's just directly dimension this to 20. Then we have other circles that are beside it. Let's see, we have another circle here. Just like drawing random circles, you will now dimension it properly to get the like exact location. So we have two circles somewhere here. We have, put fit to screen. We have another circle somewhere here. Fit to screen again. You have another circle somewhere here. They also have outer circles there too, so let's just like draw it. Now I'm just drawing random circles. We'll dimension everything when it's time. So now let's mark dimension. Now the distance from these two circles to the central circle is 25. So let's do that. 12, 25, 25. Same thing for this one to this one is 25. Then the diameter of the small circles is 12. So remember what I said before, you can dimension such that if you remove from small dimension, you click on the circumference of the circle that you have dimension, hold your control key, then click on the other circle that has the same dimension. You can automatically click on equal at the side, click on equal, and they will become the same. So that is, they are now the same. So the height, let's see, they give us a height. Okay, so let's just do this. Let's dimension all the circles first. Okay, let me, based on the dimensions we have, also that the center of this circle, from the center of this smaller circle to this other one, the distance between them is 6.4, and I'm assuming that that is the same distance on both sides because they are meant to be equal. So let's do that. So you have from here to this circle is 6.4, from this one to this other circle is also 6.4. okay, then what else are we given? There's meant to be a lower line, so let's just draw a normal line, just an ordinary line, a straight line, so that's 180 degrees. Then click on your smart dimension. Based on what we have in the drawing, the distance from the center of this central circle to that line is 24.5. So let's do that. We have 24.5 from here to this line is 24.5. Then the distance from this smaller circle to that line is 11.2. So let's dimension that to here. We have 11.2. Same thing on this side too. So you have 11.2. Okay, so basically those two circles are now black to show that they have been dimensioned properly. The next one, another dimension, like basically you just have to make sure that all the dimensions that are seen there are there. So okay, since the height is 11.2 and the radius of this outer curve is also 11.2, you can assume that if you take your circle, the center from here to this line, it should be automatically as 11.2 as the radius of this circle. So you can also just smart dimension it to confirm that. See, it's already at 11.2. I made sure that it just went directly to the surface of this, and I'm sure I did. There are times that you don't even have to stretch yourself in some dimensions, because I already know that for my calculations the radius of this thing should be 11.2. This is my line that is showing. I should make sure it's directly perpendicular to that line. So it will automatically take that exact radius, 11.2. So you don't have to bother with dimensioning. So those things are already dimensioned automatically. The upper circles, now let's dimension those ones too. So you have done those things, all the dimensions that we're given under, we have done that. Um, so let's dimension the distance from the upper circle to the lower circle. Their center is 37.5. So let's take our small dimension. Take the distance from here to here as 37.5. Then we'll do the same thing on the other side. 37.5. Let's flip to screen so you can see everything. Then we're told that the diameter, the radius of the inner one of those upper circles is 16.2, and the outer one is 22.4. 22.4 times 2 is 44.8. So let's do that. So here is 44.8. Same with this one. Now same thing, you can just select the remove from smart dimension, select the circle, hold your control key, select the second circle, then make it equal. So you don't have to make dimension lines. Then you dimension the inner one. The inner one now we're told that the radius is 16.2, so automatically the diameter is 32.4. So we have 32.4. Then you can do the same thing. You select the circle that you have dimensioned, hold your control key, select the second one, then click on equal. So that's done. So everything now, if you look at everything is almost defined. Is this lower part, this line that isn't defined? So let's solve that problem. So basically, we now have a situation where you have to figure out how to do the curve that's in between each of the lines. So there are different ways you can do this. Firstly, we have a line that is here. Let's say somewhere here, just assuming 180 degrees. But so that the distance between the center of the circle here and that line is 4.2. So let's do that 4.2. 4.2. Okay, then we're told that the radius of the curves are 6 and 5. So there are different ways you can do this. You can decide to just assume and say, okay, take your arc to specifically 3-point arc, select the 3-point arc, then you can just assume and say, okay, let me take from this point to somewhere here. And then you smart dimension it to be 6. Okay, so that's one way. Me personally, I prefer to draw circles and do it for more accuracy, but we're looking for the fastest method, so you can do the same thing here, assuming that they both start and end at almost the same point. So let's just do here. So we have another curve here. So your smart dimension, the radius of this one is 5. Just change it to 5. Okay, now my problem with this is that it's not going out of the line, which is not meant to be. So let's do that again. 3-point arc. Select the point you want to use. Okay, then select the second point, then click on it again. So you can have your smart dimension, then change it to 5. See, it's giving me an issue there. So instead, I want to show you what I normally do to avoid this. When it comes to like curves to lines, I use the normal tangent method we taught in classes. So basically, you have a line. The radius I'm looking for right now is 6. So let me just use a center line for construction. So I'll assume I will not give the distance between it to be 6. I'm doing the method where you have an intersecting line for both of them. So you have 6 here. Then we now have using our addition, because it's an internal tangent, you add the radius. So the radius of the outer circle is 22.4. If you add 6 to it, you have 28.4. So multiplying that together, you have 56.8. So you now take your circle to, you do something 56.8. You dimension this to be 56.8. If I'm not mistaken, yes. Here will now be 56.8. If you have like pre-knowledge from your normal technical drawing classes or MEE classes, you know what method I'm using. I'm using the method whereby if you have a straight line and you want to draw a curve from a circle to that straight line, you give a distance that has the radius of the curve you want to draw, and then also you add that radius to the outer circle. Then when that point of intersection, which is exactly here, you now draw your circle. So I will now stand at this point where they intersected and draw my circle. So I can now smart dimension it to give me the exact thing. That is 6, basically 12 as the diameter. So it's 12 now. So now there's something called trim entities. If you want to actually see how the drawing is meant to be, you can use trim entities. So basically this is not meant to be here, so I'll just trim it out. Here isn't meant to exist, so I'll trim here out, trim here out. I can trim off all these excess points that I do not need anymore. Trim off all these places, just trim them out. So basically this is just the curve that I wanted to get, this curve. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. So let me delete this line. I can easily delete this line, this center line I drew before. So I can draw another one. So basically this is no longer dimensioned. I can leave it still so it can be dimensioned and defined, but for now I'm just going to leave it first so that we can see how it defined. So the next one we're going to do, we're going to use the same method that we used before. Pick a center line so you can build for construction. Then we'll now draw another line here, just another random line. Once you want to leave it too, you can just press the escape tool on your keyboard and then go to your smart dimension. The distance between both of them should be 5 because the radius of doing this is 5. So you just put in 5. Then if you add 5 to that external radius, which was 22.4, you have 27.4. If you multiply it, you have 54.8. So you just take your circle tool at the center of this one, you do your 54.8. Smart dimension, you dimension it, so it will be 54.8. Okay, so now the point of intersection of the two lines, I know this is looking a bit more complex, but don't worry, you understand. Like by the time I'm done, you'll see the beauty of the work. So you just take at that point of intersection, because it's already like basically 5. Delve into dimension again, you see, because I already did that thing of where I make the line perpendicular, so you automatically give the right dimension. So basically what we have to do now is let's just like clear up the area so you can see what we have done. We'll do the same thing for the outer side as well. For here, we're assuming that it's a tangent line, so you have a tangent coming from here to here. Let's just do a random line. Same thing on the opposite side. It's looking very complex, I know, but just bear with me first. Let me clear up some space by using trim entities. Trim to closest, so you can trim off all those spaces that you do not need. So I don't need here, 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 and I don't need here. So basically I've trimmed off all those extra places. So basically now let's figure out the last curve. So the last curve now, so that it has a radius of 10. So you can easily just do something like this. I'll just draw a circle. I'll try this out and see whether it works. So if I draw a circle and I smart dimension it to be 10, and I say the distance from here to this one is 10, Hmm, is that right? Oh, so sorry, the radius is 10, so the diameter should be 20. Yes, and then the distance from this one to this one should be 22.4 plus 10, that is 32.4. Let's see how it works. Okay, it does not work, so let's redo that and try something else. So you can use the same method we did before. Just take your line to center line. This is going to take a lot of time. You just draw a random straight line, just at 90 degrees. Escape it. The smart dimension, you say that okay, the radius is 10, so the distance from them is 10. Then adding 10 to the overall radius of this thing is 32.4. 32.4 times 2, 64.8. So same circle, smart dimension into 64.8. So at their point of intersection, you take your, this is the point of intersection here. So you just, yeah, so you have it 10. Okay, so that's it. So let's clear up some room again by trimming off all these excess parts. We don't need all this, don't need all this, all of this, don't need it. So basically now you can also trim off this inner part that you do not need anymore. You can trim off this line, trim off this part, all these extra parts that you do not need, because they're just like blocking your view basically. So let's trim off all here. Okay, so basically our drawing is almost complete. Okay, so see, we're seeing more road now. The road is showing, we can actually see what we are doing now. Okay, so that's that. Okay, let's also trim off here. We don't need all this, all these parts are intersecting into the curve. We don't need them here too. We don't need this, we don't need this. So I say it's like making more sense now, am I right? A lot of sense now compared to how it was before. So let's do the same thing we did there on this other side. So basically, let me take it. I know this video is going to be very long. It's actually a very complex drawing. So let's do the same thing. Let's draw a random center line. Then smart dimension is such that the distance between that tangent line we drew before and this line is 10. Then same thing we did before, the same radius. So by the time we have 22.4 plus 10, that's 32.4. If we multiply it, we have 64.8. So you take your circle to the gain. Actually just have just like done that same thing of control, giving them the same dimension, just do everything at the same time. Once this one by one, so like we can keep on seeing what I'm doing. So 64.8. Okay, so this is the central point here. So let's draw our circle. Yes, so that's 10. So you can just like use your trim entities to trim off all those excess parts again. So let's go, so you can clear up the road and you can actually see what you are doing. So if you can see, everything looks a lot finer now, like there's a lot of space, you can actually see what you are doing. So let's continue trimming off everything. Okay, so we are almost done with the trimming. Okay, well, I only trimmed off the actual curve we're actually doing. Okay, so here, no, let me zoom in a bit so I can actually see where I'm working with. So I want to work on this area, so let me zoom here. Yes, so if you click on this second magnifying glass that is zoom to area, you can just highlight the area you want to focus on. So let me take my trim tool once again and I'll trim off all these extra parts that I couldn't see before. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I clicked on F again so I can get like a clearer view. So this same extra parts at the end. So now let me just like space out all these dimension lines so you can actually see what's going on here. Because the dimension line, now let me delete all the center lines, you don't need them. Let's delete them so that you can have like you can actually see what you're doing. Delete all these center lines. Also to actually have a clearer space. Okay, so if you look at it now, this is basically the drawing that we're doing, but it's still not defined. That's just the issue. So let's relate now. As I said in one of the videos, the best way to define a drawing is by relating it to the center. So you relate it to the center of this one. Okay, then let's get the vertical distance another way. Okay, see, it's defined. Whatever dimension you see there, just accept it and just go with it. So let's see. And dimension the vertical as well. So it's dimensioned. This place is also not dimensioned, so let's do that too. Anywhere that is just blue, you know that is not dimensioned. So just go ahead and dimension it. Voila. Don't want too many dimensions. Hold on, let me remove some of the dimensions I used just now. Clear up some space. So see, this thing has many dimensions. Don't mind me. I want to just my aim is just to try and make it fully defined. Okay, so I repeated the dimension by accident. So okay, maybe this should work. No. Making it fully defined is such a problem. It's so hard to do. But what can we do? We have to just work with it. Okay, let me try dimension distance from here to here. This center to this center. Okay. This is the last one that doesn't want to agree to dimension. What can we do? What can we do? Let me try giving the radius. Okay. Yes, finally. Mistake. Okay, but it's still not fully defined. Let's see any other blue point. Okay, here is blue. So let's just dimension it somehow. What else? Okay, here. What is this people's problem? They should dimension draw. Still not fully defined. This is very, very funny. Let me try viewing the full thing. Let me see where the issue is. Is there any other place that is blue? Okay, let me see. It's like there are some places that are not meant to be here. Why? Exactly. There's some places that are not meant to be here, but they are. So let's see. According to our drawing now, okay, there's some things that are still not removed. Oh yes, we have not removed here. We have not removed here. So there's another thing. We have not removed here. Okay. So okay, I see like it's actually coming out well. Then we have one other last section we need to do, and that's this upper part. So what you can easily do is that you take your line to use midpoint line, following the midpoint of this one. Okay, do the same thing on this side. Okay, escape first. So you can smart dimension from the center of the midpoint line to the end, so it will be equal on the other side. Its full length is 10, so let's make it 5. So this side will reduce 2. Then you use the same thing, line to midpoint line. Come follow the central line. Then you smart dimension this side to this side. Same 5. Okay, so basically you can now just draw horizontal lines from the ends as it cuts through. Okay, so we have another line. So we go to our line tool again. Draw a horizontal line. Okay, so basically I can trim off some stuff. I can trim off here, trim off here, trim off here, trim off this curve, trim off this curve, trim off here, trim off here, trim off here. Can do the same thing on this side. Trim off here, trim off here, trim off here, trim off, trim, 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 and trim. So basically this is our drawing, but it's not defined still. So let's smart dimension this. Distance from here to here is 10. Distance from here to here is also 10. And the distance from this line to this center is 26.4. Distance from this side, because I already related the two sides, I can just simply relate 1 to the center. So basically we are almost done. And the dimension is such that this place is black too. Please don't mind me, don't do like this. No, there's some things at this point. There's no time you have to. For example purposes, try and make it define, but I feel like the video is becoming too long, so I'm not even done. So let us go and extrude this out. Now I told in the drawing that the height of the drawing of that point is 5. So I go to extrude both space. Select this face. I change it to 5. So that is 5. So basically we have almost the whole drawing, but the center has like a hexagon. It's a hexagon, an octagon. So you just go to your sketch, go to polygon tool, select your surface, then you just come here, the center, just draw the hexagon anyhow first. I just here is in 6 right now, so change to 8. Then if you look at it now, there's a particular way it is arranged, so you can just like move this. You can adjust it so that here to be straight. Okay, so let's adjust it so it's like exactly how it is in the drawing. Although that distance from one end to the other is 24. So this is a smart dimension. Distance from here to here is 24. Automatically every side will be adjusted, so you can now move it back to how it's meant to be. Okay, so that's 24. Let's check whether it's correct, because the distance from this side to this side should also be 24. So let's see. It's 24, so we don't need to dimension it again. Then also that the center circle, now I also have to make a hole, because like it's only this hexagon part that is being extruded. So let's go to small dimension after drawing our circle. The circle is 20. Okay, so let's see, is there any way to let's relate this to the center, so it will also be defined. And it's defined. So you go to your features, click on extrude board space, only this point to be extruded. I shouldn't. So the height of that one is 3. So you just come here and change this 3. So this is drawing. Because of time, I won't do any coloring, any appearances. Well, I feel like you can see the results and actually came out well. Again, if you want to actually look at how it's meant to be after you pitch your plane, go to that box that has many arrows, then click on isometric view. So with that, you're done.